But well, I'll start. How did you get the name TSC and Sam? Where did you come up with that? What does it stand for?
Well, TSCN is the name of my network, the Samcast network, and the way that we got that was back in the day, we originally just had one show. It was called Samcast, and then whenever we sort of retired that show because various hosts that were regulars, it was a geek culture news podcast, and sometimes you get tired of doing that. I mean, I'm currently doing another one with a friend on their network, which
Yeah.
sucks for me because I don't have to necessarily collect scores and everything like that. But that does become tedious at some point. So we ended up retiring that, but sort of as a way of giving legacy as to where we stayed. Um, I was going to call it the Sandcast Network, and it was going to be TSN, but turns out everybody already had that. So I had to
Mm.
sort of separate it out, make the C part of it, and TSCN became the thing. So at some point, I ended up changing my social media names and stuff like that because I had been sticking with one particular one for a long time.
Well,
And
oh,
yeah,
I didn't mean to cut you off. I was gonna say, was that hard? Because like for me, I'm fit Shiv 29 on everything now. So like to really change would be starting all the way over. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Getting all the followers again, all redoing the whole channel, getting affiliated, and it just seems like too much of a hassle. You know?
luckily I wasn't doing things like streaming at the time, right?
Yeah.
So I've made these changes before I got into things like Twitch and stuff like that. I mean, I'm still not affiliated on Twitch. I need to go through that hustle at some point and make that happen. Um, but luckily, it was to where, other than my Snapchat, which is still LabTech7, all of the other things have pretty much changed over, and my one page that I use that has all of them on it still has that, but it would be fairly easy for me to flip that over too and make a new one. I just need to do it. It's one of those things to where I've just been slacking on not doing it, to be honest with you. I'll be professional about that. Um, so yeah, luckily on all these different social media sites, it was fairly easy to swap my name over and still keep everything intact. But like I said, with the exception of Snapchat, and as a result, I don't people know what it is. Especially considering now I'm doing things where I'm doing stories on both Snapchat and Instagram, so
Yeah.
double trouble when they're there.
Oh, well,
uh,
you're better than me. I don't Snapchat. I just don't see the whole picture thing. I've never been a big picture person, but
mm,
you do a lot of stuff. You cosplay, and I know I one of the things that when I do an interview, I go in and I research and I Google everybody, and I find things like your Overwatch Patreon, and I know you do Doctor Who episodes. What started you down podcasting?
huh, let's see. I started off as a blogger, just blogging the various things that I found on the internet, which I guess is how we got to the Sandcast thing, actually. Um, I slowly started to figure out that I could talk to someone and tell them a lot better what was going on, how things went on, because friends would still use me as like a funny little news source, weirdly. And I was like, "What's going on?" And I'd be able to tell them what it was because I was that one friend that kept track of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, so I slowly started to figure out, as I would always jokingly put it, that things came out of my mouth a whole lot easier than they came out of my fingers, so to speak. Which meant that when it came to typing up paragraphs and stuff, I could do it. But if you just let me talk, it was a whole lot easier for me to do it than it would be typing. I always admire people like you that can write articles and stuff like that because that's just never been my ability to do that. I've just got a mouth that runs a million miles an hour, and that's how I get stuff out. So I guess combined with that and the fact that at the time I was really big into podcasting anyway. I had been listening to various stuff. I I think at that point, if if Brushwood and all of them had not been in my peripheral already, they were about to be. I'm horrible at timelines, so sometimes I get them confused. um, but people like Brian Brushwood, Twitch, that stuff, a lot of the people that you hear, or a lot of podcasters of the era that I started in quote, like the people over at Provision 3, things like that. Those were the people that kind of inspired me to podcast. And I start I started off doing the show solo with a laptop and a headset mic. And over time, we then upgraded to the microphones and the mixer. And just recently, we've upgraded the studio again to where I've got a completely different table set up, a streaming computer, and better equipment.
Hmm.
But it's been a process, and I've been at this for it's at least 7 years because again, with timelines, I can't remember exactly which month I started in, but by the end of this year, it'll be my 8th year of doing this. So
Wow.
it's been an interesting ride of things have changed and evolved and stuff like that. And I've added shows, retired shows, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's well, that's very cool. The process of it, me getting into it now, I see it. You know, with I have this what I'm using is just a headset mic and a little USB camera, and I think putting out content is the main thing. But people do care about quality, and they do care about um, what you put out. As for someone that's been doing it for 8 years, how have you honed your craft into deciding what content you put out and what content you create?
It's going to sound trite because this is something that a lot of people say, but it really is whatever you're passionate about.
Hmm.
My my main advice for people, first of all, with hardware is start with like what you said, the laptop, the headset, stuff like that. Because it would be utterly ridiculous to spend as much money as you might spend on equipment and realize, this isn't for me.
Yeah.
That would be ridiculous. So obviously start with that stuff, and then if you get extraordinarily serious about it, then that's when you might consider, upgrading and stuff like that, depending on how you care about sound and stuff like that. Um, but when it comes to figuring out what to do in shows, pretty much figure out something that you could talk for hours about anyway.
Yeah.
So my parents, we do ministry work anyway. So us having a Bible podcast made sense, especially because that one actually had a reboot. We started it as just a general Christianity topic podcast,
Hmm.
and it just wasn't working for some weird reason. And then we thought, what if we take the book thing format that already exists, but apply it to the Bible? So unofficially, I jokingly say it's our Bible fan podcast. I never actually say that on the show, but that's
Yeah.
sort of our little joke that we've got going. Um, and then, like Doctor Who, I'm obsessed with Doctor Who. Okay, I'm a Doctor Who encyclopedia. There, I won't be able to tell you every single blasted thing, like, oh, I don't know, production codes or something like that. Don't ask me to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not your guy for that. But things like the universe itself and story plot lines and stuff like that, I can rattle off little trivia bits about it and everything. So it made sense. And I started that show with me, my friend Jacob, who is now retired from podcasting because he decided his girlfriend at the time was more important than that. Smart move. Um,
Yeah.
uh, and my mom. And now it's just me and my mom talking about Doctor Who, and it's been fantastic. We've made it all the way to the Fifth Doctor era now, so we are all the way in the '80s, and this started like in the '60s era, of course. You know,
Well,
um, yeah.
one of the things that interests me the most is the fact that you do the ministry podcast, and for me, I'm Christian, but like if I announce that, which I mean I just did, people know it's not secret, but if I was just like I lose credibility because people think you're just a Bible thumper
Mm-hmm.
And don't take offense to that, because I am a Bible
Yeah,
thumper.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
you keep those views to yourself. What made you decide to be openly on the internet a Christian? You know.
Well, first of all, I don't think I can hide it. It is sort
Well,
of,
yes.
you know how this goes. You sort of can't hide it. It's not like you're ashamed of it or anything like that. So you like, hey, this is what I am. Um, but second of all, to me, my podcasting really is a ministry to me, and not just a Bible one, um, because there is this essence of what Christians apparently are. And whenever I talk about people like that, I always talk about them in air quotes Christians,
Yeah.
right? The ones that show up to parades at Atlanta, not that I'm being specific about a specific guy, and have a sign that says God hates this and things like that. Those are the people that I can't stand
Yeah. Me
that
too.
call themselves Christians, but I think I can be brave enough to say this even in an interview format. They're not presenting the teachings that we are supposed to be going by.
Yeah.
So
Many will stand in
unfortunately,
street corners. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, those are the loud ones.
Yeah.
So those are the ones that people hear most. So at least to me, it is sort of my job um, to prove that that is not the case and to sort of present. The old adage is, "Let your life be your testimony." Right.
Yeah.
So for me, all of the stuff we do on this network, whether it deals with Christianity or not, really is this ministry work of, hey, we're a bunch of Christians, and yet what you've seen isn't what it actually is. Let us show you a little bit about what it's like to, not have a stick somewhere, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's one of the reasons why it makes it easy is because to me, I really feel that podcasting is my ministry and my calling, and everything I do on it is moving further towards that goal.
That's great. Honestly, I find it inspiring in a sense of, like, for me, I'm openly a Christian, but I don't openly preach. It's just like you just said. Many will stand. It's better to go in your closet and pray than it is to stand in street court or stand on street corners with the masses. Two or more gather in my name, I'm there. I know verses and I can scripture, but I was that guy. And people roll their eyes at that guy. You know,
Mm.
so and that's where I struggle with my religion. I think it actually is inspiring that y'all get together and do that. Um, what's made you continue to do that? Is it to reach out to people, or because I imagine it helps other people and others.
Hmm. I think that to me, finding success in this for me, my goal, because everyone needs to kind of have a goal. What do you want to do with this? Um, and for me, it's never been about being some successful person that has thousands of views, or it's never been anything like that. If I can put something positive to one person's life, whether it be just make them smile or just encourage them or something like that, then I have done my job, and I find that to be a success. And occasionally, as a content creator, you do get feedback, and stuff like that. It's fantastic whenever you do. Um, Obviously, the one trap that exists in content creating is one, looking at your numbers too much. Because some people gauge their success by that, and that's really not a good metric that tells you much, as it were.
Yes, you're right.
Um, and two, the other one that most people look at is, why aren't people giving me feedback? Why aren't people? There was a thing that someone said recently that more people that hate you will speak up than the people that like you.
No, it's
It's
true.
like you see the numbers, you know that people are listening, but a lot of people just don't speak up, and that needs to be something that you need to get comfortable with, where it's like, no, I know they're there. I need to be comfortable with the fact they're there. They just don't want to come out of the shadows because they're not like me and willing to expose themselves to the entire world, right? So
Yeah.
that's those are sort of the two metrics that I notice usually destroy a person whenever they're talking about getting into this. Um, but to me, occasionally I do get those bits of feedback that go, "Hey, I love the show," or "Hey, that was hilarious," or "Hey, that really inspired me." And all of those just set to make me remember this is why I do this. Sometimes it's even rough doing this,
Yeah, it
but
is. I agree with
I've
that.
I've had I've had meltdowns involving trolls. I've had all sorts of things, but then I come back to just those couple of people that will speak up and say, "Hey, keep doing it because I love what you're doing," and that keeps me going.
It is those things that keep you creating. And trolls, I feel like if I got a troll, I'm making it, man. Like, but yeah, you know how I am. I don't let it bother me because that's the thing about it is you care about your numbers and you do care about what you put out, but you can't care about what people think. And it just takes one person to say something, and then everybody will want to say something and critique you. And and that's one of the main things that interests me is like everybody's going to critique religion. Everybody's going to microscope. How do you believe this? How do you feel that? And I imagine you get a lot of that. You know, and some with the critiques, it does end. It'll end a creator, and the fact that you've been doing it for 8 years with the critiques, have you just learned to how do you get on the camera every show and just it is what it is. You still podcast. What what keeps you doing that?
I suppose I gained a thick skin because of an incident that occurred. I'm gonna share this. People already know about it publicly, but I'll share an incident or two. So back whenever Jacob was still alive, um, he had gotten popular on a website called IGN. IGN has the ability for people to write their own articles, which now he has his own blog. He's not on any of these platforms. I love it. It makes me giggle with glee about it. Um, but he became what is called over there an IGN All Star, which
Hmm.
means they write good content, they get rewarded for it and stuff like that, and the community tends to love them as a result. But obviously, then he was podcasting over here, so some of the IGN people followed over to our website. Now, I don't know if you know about the reputation of IGN,
Yeah, I do.
but the creators on the website themselves make jokes about it. That gives anyone any idea about it. Whenever a creator on a website jokes about their own community being extraordinarily toxic, then you kind of know something's up. Um, so as a result, some of them came over. Of course, they liked Jacob because that's why they came over. Didn't like me so much. So that's where I sort of gained my armor because I had to deal with this biggest, most crushing attack of people that I had ever dealt with. And bless Jacob so much because he helped me through this. He was like, dude, I brought this here and I intend to help you get through this. And it was him speaking up and going, guys, you came here because of me. I'm gonna tell you to stop right now, and sort of stuff. And it
Yeah.
it snapped me a little bit, and he was kind of the person that helped put me back together. And hilariously enough, I think it sort of taught me that sometimes as content creators, we can become fictional characters to people. They don't
I'm sorry. It's true. That's true as
yeah,
hell. Go ahead.
they don't quite realize that we're real. And hilariously enough, I think the end of that whole reign, because it's been going on for a while, there were like little people that still stuck around even when this stuff. Um, and the event that finally calmed all of them down was when I was in Atlanta for Dragon Con. And of course, anytime I go to Dragon Con, I document the whole thing. I Snapchat it up and everything like that.
Yeah.
And at the time, I had been off my epilepsy medicine because they said, you don't need it. You know, but my TSCNsam, I have a better one now. But because of that, I was in the middle of doing a Dungeons and Dragons thing with Jacob, I might add. He was dungeon mastering for his first time. And then, ironically enough, he had gotten a critical hit on me. And then I found myself on the floor of the room. And I immediately knew what had happened. Oh no, the one place I never wanted to have a seizure, and I've had one at Atlanta. This is not good. You know, it just annoyed the daylights out of me. Funnily enough, when the news that I had a seizure came out, the trolling practically ceased, and suddenly those same people that had been going, "You suck," were suddenly going, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
Because I think that that moment humanized me, and suddenly they realized, "Oh my God, he's a human being. He's not some fictional character." And it was really bizarre for that to happen. But I've I've I don't think you've ever heard someone say that a seizure might have been a blessing, but I think in this case it might have been.
uh,
So yeah.
well, yeah, that's a big thing. We do. Oh, not to project. I do. You know, Fitz is a character. Um, I, maybe doing the interviews, I become my actual self, but still, like, it's an extension of myself. You know,
Right.
I because I don't care what people think, and I get away with shit because of that. I say I didn't even mean to cuss. I said like the F word like 50 times, so I wouldn't say it on this interview. But uh, you I can character out into things. Like I can just become Fitz, and then it doesn't matter what I say or do because people are like, oh, it's Fitz. He's gonna say something crazy, anyways. You know, and is that did you have to come up with some kind of defensive block like that, or do you character out into Sam when you do your shows, or do you just is it just an extension of yourself? You know,
it
because
tends it tends to be an extension of myself rather than a character, so to speak. Although I do know that some people do that, and no offense to them if they do that, like I do. Um, but it's everyone's different style, and I've always been the one that I guess is more of the person that is just who they are on a microphone. Although, I do go out there to entertain a little bit. I'll do characters, I'll do stuff like that, depending on what's going on. Especially if something stupid happens to pop into my head, then usually that stupid thing will occur. But I tend to do that in conversations with friends anyway, so it's not like that's that big of a change. But yeah, so for me, it's always been more the this is Samuel, although it may be Samuel mildly excited, it's still Samuel, just coming on mic and doing it.
well, do you find yourself censoring yourself in thoughts that you would there's I imagine there's a lot of stuff we say off stream that we wouldn't say on stream, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to
Yeah,
be that way, you know, and uh you don't want to alienate a certain part of your audience. Being that you do a religious ministry podcast, does it ever flow into your other shows that you know that it's not that show's brand of audience, you know?
mm. I do tend to think about that whenever I'm talking. Um, like the different shows that I do an independent music podcast, and there, the music is the um, star. I'm just the person that brings it to people, so I tend to just do little things in between the songs and let it go from there. Um, Samuel's Thoughts is probably the most open one out of the entire bunch because it does what it says on the tin. It's whatever I happen
Yeah.
to be flowing through my head. That's what I happen to spit out. So people know that sometimes that may involve ministry things. It was either last episode or the episode before I had witnessed someone gatekeeping in a religious sense, and I had never observed that before. And it just incensed me so much that I ended up doing half an episode. Because at the time there was also some gatekeeping. I think it might have been in Doctor Who or something like that. That also people were gatekeeping. So I did just a whole episode on gatekeeping, and I did two examples where one of them was in science fiction and the other one was in church of all places. It's like, why? No, shouldn't be happening. So yeah, sometimes faith things come in the same response, and you can kind of expect it because it's part of what I am.
It's part of your brand,
Um,
yeah.
Obviously, Jig, that's the name for it. That was great.
Hmm.
Um, and then going through Who is interesting because when it comes to science fiction, a lot of the times they will make allegories to something religious. Like the episode that's about to come out on Sunday, whenever we're recording this, has a lot of biblical allegories in it. And of course, with me and mom doing what we do, we couldn't help but mention it. We didn't go preaching or anything like that, but it was one of those things where it's like, oh, would you look at that? There's a snake and
Uh,
an apple. I wonder where they got that one from. It's like the sort of jokes that we make, although also some mentioning the whole apple thing and everything like that. You know, episode on all that crap. Um,
yeah.
but but yeah, so we do sometimes, especially me and mom, mention stuff like that on Going for Who when it's, I guess you could say, appropriate because it's obviously us observing something that clearly came from that sort of thing. Um, but luckily with that show, we also have things called memory course, where we sometimes go and do a special bonus episode about specific topics. And me and mom actually are thinking about breaking down, once we get enough examples of Doctor Who doing that sort of thing, and doing a bonus episode that's specifically on that topic. So that kind of helps too. Um, but yeah, I think it just depends on whether I find it to be appropriate. But it's not like it's never going to show up. But um, I tend to just use my own judgment and see when it is appropriate. And usually with me and mom, whenever we mention it, I go through Who, we even joke that, yeah, we're going to misbehave and mention it a little bit, things like that.
Well, that's one of the things that interests me is, and maybe not with you. Some religious families, uh, they're they're a bit guarded in the content they're allowed to watch. That their parents allow them to see. And Doctor Who, as a fast, is one of your staples. It's science fiction. It doesn't refute God, I would say, but I mean it's science. And it's everything that you can imagine. That's uh, wouldn't be in the laps of religion. And you do see allegories and religious allegories and a lot of things, music, shows, and I think it's just we're content creators and we find something interesting and we take and make that our own. Um, but do I don't know, how does your religion affect what you see, how you see certain content that's being created?
I guess I would be lying if I said that it didn't completely. It's not like I look at something and go, "Oh, how dare! I'm never going to." We've never really been that type. The only censoring my parents ever did whenever I was younger would be censoring that I think even a secular family would have done. Like, obviously, you're not going to have a 3-year-old watch South Park, for instance. That's not going to be a thing that happens, right? For obvious reasons. Um,
No, but we let them watch YouTube, which is
yeah,
just as worse.
I know. That is one of the things that kind of annoys me too. Is they think they can just get a kid in front of YouTube and go, "Okay, watch a bunch of videos on what?" No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, they're playing video games. What could possibly go wrong? A lot could go wrong. Don't. So yeah, my parents sort of monitored what I was watching, but it wasn't. Um, oh no, this does not fit within the standards. We will not do this, sort of thing. So they were, and if there was anything that they didn't want me to watch, they would sit me down and explain it to me. It would never just be because I said so. It would be, no, there's a very specific reason why, and we're going to explain it to you like a human being instead of saying because of my authority. That's why.
Yeah.
um, so, so yeah, I grew up fairly understanding stuff. Plus, I was one of those natural kids where I wanted to know the reason why of everything. Anyway, I had a friend recently. His daughter questioned me something. She said, "Have you always been this way?" And then he started laughing a little bit. And he said, "Sweetheart, Sam has been a man since he was about as high up as my knee. Okay, that's so I was always one of those kids that became an adult fairly quick.
Yeah.
um, even to the point where I don't have the accent of this region, and it wasn't me trying to destroy it or anything like that. I'm always been a damn English nut, and the amount of people have gone, "You're not from around here, are you?" I'd be like,
Mm.
"Yes, I am."
Nah, you ain't, boy. You don't sound like me. But
Yeah,
yeah, no,
exactly.
I get
That's
it.
totally what it goes like sometimes. Um, but yeah, so that's how it goes. And yeah, sometimes I suppose that it does sway it, but not in a positive or a negative way, more of a, oh, that's interesting sort of thing. Like I would probably notice some of those religious allegories that may just zip on past someone that doesn't have that background.
Well, I notice a lot of things. I won't admit to botting, because I don't bot for my own personal gain, or having separate accounts. But I lurk in places because like at the moment there's something that sets us apart. Like you were talking about, we just openly put our thoughts out there, and you see that in chat rooms and in other shows. There'll be 300 people watching, but like 10 talking. Because people are scared to even voice an opinion in chat. Or well, unless they're a troll.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, then they have no problem whatsoever.
but I've noticed your audience isn't uh, just a base of Christians. It's a mixture of both, and I find that very interesting, empowering. Like the people that have gotten behind you, not just being Christian or falling behind faith, they actually follow you because they like your content.
Yeah.
Uh, how do you is keeping God, or whatever, uh, important across the board in your content, or there's just shows where I was kind of asking the same question twice, but I mean, is it one of the things that you go into like, this is always me. This is always part of my message. This is always part of my brand.
If it comes up, it comes up.
Yeah.
I guess is the best way to put it, right? Uh, it's not ever, oh, I didn't mention God in this episode. I'm the fair, sort
Yeah.
of things like that, But if it comes up, it comes up as just part of me organically. So yeah, that's usually where it ends up going. And I even love things where like I remember someone was asking me some questions, and they were like, you make a lot of D&D. How do you possibly deal with that? And he was old enough to where I knew it was him dealing with the fact that in the 80s, Dungeons and Dragons had been a big thing in
Yeah.
his ministry and everything like that, where they're like, this is evil, and stuff like that. And you could tell none of those people had ever experienced this
Yeah.
and actually cracked them open and stuff. Because keep in mind, very little secret about Dungeons and Dragons, all of those demons and his hands and stuff like that. Those are the bad guys.
Yeah.
So you're fighting those. That's the whole point. Um, I mean, I suppose there are some things that might make certain people uncomfortable, stuff like that. Like, for instance, there's a whole pantheon of gods, which doesn't bug me, because I know you're just playing a role. You're not suddenly getting into a new religion. But, um, I could see where that would bug some people,
Well,
but not to the level of the panels that happen in Vegas, for instance.
one of the things I've personally been struggling with is will is in Revelation says there will be plenty of nowadays prophets and idol worship. And sometimes doing this is just that. It's high school in how can you be unique, stand out, and at the same time, then you do get people that not necessarily worship you or praise you, but they do like Fitz is great. Sam is wonderful. Don't say anything negative about Sam and
Yeah.
and shit like that. When you know, yeah, sometimes it I've done bits that I don't agree with. Like that I don't believe in. But at the time, you do it because we're putting on a show. We're entertaining the masses, and this is does that ever conflict your your own personal belief? I mean, you see what we do on game night, and
Yeah.
I'm not to I know we all think things, but some people won't say them. And that's one of the things I try to be is a person that'll say them. Uh, but does that hinder your content creation sometimes?
Well, game night is an interesting situation for me because I love how all of us seem to have gained our own characters in game night.
Yeah.
We really are a recurring cast, and I kind of like that. Like poor Will, he's the person just
What?
taking all the cats and hurting them
Yeah.
while Fitz sits in the corner. You don't know what he's going to say next. Samuel is constantly face palming. You just can't see it. It's like clear that all of us have our own like characters, and that's really fun to me. Um, and if anything, it also helps out because here's always been my philosophy about things like swearing and stuff like that. When people will listen, if people ever got a hold of the podcast that I listen to and looked at it from the side of me being a Christian, 90% of the podcasts that I listen to swear,
Yeah.
you know, and I've always had the feeling of oh, they can swear. I'm just choosing not to. It's not one. I mean, I've even done interviews with people on my interview podcast, and they dropped an f bomb. I'm not going to go in and censor it because that's that person being themselves, and it wasn't me dropping an f bomb. It was just them.
Yeah.
So I I guess I always try to make it family friendly content just cause. But like for instance, me and mom do Let's Plays together, and we did Bioshock recently. There's a lot of stuff in Bioshock, so
Which one?
we're
Was it
uh,
Infinite? Oh my God! Don't tell me
no.
what. Okay. All right.
We're probably gonna get to Infinite and
Yeah.
have fun with that one because we've actually played through that on our own together and we loved every single bit of it. We could have an hour conversation on here just about that. Um, but but yeah, it was Bioshock One, and as a result, you've got splicers dropping f bombs all over the place. You've got the goriest things you've ever seen in your life. But me, mom went through it and played it, and I put a warning at the beginning of it, but I did it tongue in cheek because I happen to have a Eve syringe prop that I have. So
Okay.
I was like, so after giving like the swearing warning and everything, I pulled the Eve syringe out of nowhere and went, "Let's do this, shall we?" And then just as it reached my wrist, it cuts off and goes to the actual gameplay footage.
That's
Um,
actually cool. Yeah.
so yeah, I try to have a sense of humor whenever I'm getting warnings like that because yeah, it can be difficult sometimes for people to go, well, no, wait a minute, you happen to be this, and yet this
Well,
is a thing.
that's one of the problems I have uh, as a Christian is once you say I'm a Christian. Right now we're in a culture where you're left or right, and I find
Mm-hmm.
myself in between because I don't have any views. I don't. It is what it is. It's stuff I can't control. Yeah, I can use my platform to preach per se what the ideals and stuff I stand up for and I believe in. But I mean, how do you deal with that label? Because I mean, you're very open about it, and I mean, I am too. But I've been using the term closeted Christian a lot because that's if it's brought up like this interview is you're an open Christian, so of course that's the topic I'm gonna tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for me, like if it was any other interview, we wouldn't be talking about God, you know.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
But how do you deal with that label as a content creator? Do you just shrug it off, or you just it's part of Sam? It's
Uh,
asking the same question 3 times now.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's fine. You're adding extra layers to it, so it's not like you're repeating yourself.
Yeah.
Um, I suppose as a label, that's part of what I'm doing anyway, is sort of taking what everyone assumed that label is and redefining it. Even something like joining in on game night is sort of me making a bit of a statement. Because think about it,
Yeah. No.
if you talk about one of these kind of what you would expect to be a Christian, they would walk into game night and go, I am absolutely appalled and shocked by what's going on here, and they would turn the other way.
No, they would.
Um,
They
but
would though.
instead, I'm like I said, I'm a character in there where it's, oh guys, Sam's a Christian in here, and he's
But
going to shake his head disapprovingly at us. Sort of thing.
well, that's why I have bits where like, don't worry, Sam, I'll say it for you. You know.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but I mean, that is just a bit. Uh, and then there is that, like you said, there people don't see us as real people, and I get it too because doing what I do, I talk to a lot of people, other content creators and shit, and they all say the same thing. You just have to learn to fucking not, or sorry, not care what people think about you. And
Mm.
but what? Tell me about the other stuff you do. Like I know you're a big fan of Overwatch, and you plan, or you did cosplay as May, and
My brother cosplayed Diva at Dragon Con.
oh, Diva, that's what it is. Yes. Sometimes
That
they
was
get.
my that May was my lie on the thing. That's why you're that's why you're catching that whenever we have the truth or lies thing on game night one night.
You're right. But well,
Uh,
how did you start doing all that, getting into gaming? Because that's a toxic environment. I don't care
yeah.
what system you're on. It's a toxic environment.
So my gaming started way back whenever I was really young. I've pretty much been on the Nintendo track for my entire life. There were some people that popped off and went to Sony. I've been loyal the entire time, and I say that not as fighting words, but as a joke. Um, but but yeah, I have been the loyal Nintendo guy for most of my life, and then of course I got into PC gaming a little bit. I can't remember exactly when I started with it, but there were just certain games. And then especially lately, I've been really getting into it because a couple of years ago, we just now got cable internet in my tiny little area of the world. And that's one of the reasons why I started streaming and stuff, because I have the bandwidth for it. And it's been quite nice. And as a result, because I got a streaming PC, they double with the capability of they're also pretty dang good if you got a powerful enough one to play video games. So I've been doing a lot of PC gaming lately, which has also helped with various things, especially. And interesting thing about me and streaming is I had to come to a agreement with myself about it because I started by just streaming Skyrim, and that's all I was streaming. But then I was gonna move on to another game, and I ended up moving on to StarCraft, and I was just streaming StarCraft. And then I sort of learned from other game streamers that I was watching for a while that when it comes to game streaming, people aren't watching to watch you um, play through a game in order. That's what Let's Plays are for.
Yeah.
Um, People just come to the stream to watch you play a game that you're wanting to play. Because if you're not wanting to play it that night, they're going to kind of know. So I loosened myself up and started playing these other games like Overwatch. Sometimes I played Hearthstone, Diablo. Last night I played Pillars of Eternity 2 and turned a bunch of pirates into a bloody pulp. So there's like there's because I tried to sneak around and plan went totally out the window. So I end up playing these different games, and occasionally I'm even adding more to the roster and stuff like that. So it was me having to take my extraordinarily organized self, because I am. I'm one of these incredulously organized people that keeps a calendar and stuff like that. And streaming has been good for me content creation wise because it has made me learn to be a bit flexible. So
Hmm.
instead to go, what do I feel like playing tonight? And then I'll play it. Instead of going, no, schedule it. This is what we're trying to get through. It's good for me to actually be flexible a bit, stuff like that.
Well, schedules are good. I
Mhm.
I need more of one. Doing what we do, I want what I do. I end up being locked in this room most of like 17 hours out of the day. You know, following what's going on with who and what this person's doing. Um, the, but you've been doing this for 8 years, uh, and successfully, I would add. What what's kept you doing it for 8 years? Because even me, I've get to points where like people they want you to write, they want you to create, they want you to do this, and I'm like, no, I don't want to. Mostly because people want me to, and
Uh-huh.
that's just my personality. If you tell me to do something, I'm not gonna do it. Uh, but how have you kept creating for 8 years? What's kept you going?
I guess it's because I keep up with stuff I'm passionate about. And one of the things I'm passionate about is creating. I haven't lost the passion. That does not mean that sometimes I don't feel like doing it or stuff like that. I mean, there are times I've had to push myself through, and stuff like that. Especially one of the ones that sometimes gets rushed is the indie music podcast I do because that one probably, if you don't count actually watching Doctor Who, I'm going to Who obviously because then that one wins because you've got to watch an entire story. But if you don't count that, just putting together the playlist every single month takes time because you've got a bunch of people that have submitted songs and you have to listen to them. Sometimes you're lucky and every single one of them you get to accept and just put your playlist together. Sometimes, however, it feels like you're pulling teeth.
Yeah.
And that's and sometimes it's just like, oh god, I don't want to do this anymore. But I keep doing it, especially when I hear from those artists. They're like, hey man, thanks for playing me and everything like that. It's like, I'm super excited. But yeah, that's why shows have been canceled, and we've stopped doing things and stuff like that. Because at some point, if we've gone, yeah, we're not feeling this anymore, so we're not going to. I did a sound podcast with my dad, and as soon as he got all of the knowledge out of his head, we didn't try to overextend it and keep pushing it because we knew better. That wouldn't have been entertaining, and people would have seen right through it. So once he was done, he was done.
Hmm.
So that tends to be how things go around here is that if we're just not feeling it anymore, we usually don't try to struggle through it and continue to do it. And that's why we've done various different shows around here and stuff. And most of them are still in the archives if people want to look back and see them. But we just stick to what we're still feeling passionate about. And like me and mom love doing Doctor Who with each other. And mom and dad love going over the Bible. That one will eventually come to its end when we get all the way to the end. It's gonna take a freaking long time.
I was just say you got some books and verses to go through first, but
Oh yeah,
uh,
but
even
yeah,
with Doctor Who, yeah.
mm-hmm, totally. I had someone ask me, "Hey man, I'm loving the whole going through Who thing. When you get through this, I want to have a drink with you." And I was like, "Make mine a virgin, and you've got a deal. But you might want to take a pint because keep in mind the show's still going. You may never
Yeah.
get that drink
Uh, uh,
if you don't take a point."
how many Doctor Who's have we went through now? What, five,
um,
4?
are I have we have currently gotten to the Fifth Doctor's era,
Yeah.
and there are 13 whenever October comes around. So our newest Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, will be the 13th person to take the role.
It's, I mean, it's just amazing to me.
It is.
You know,
And it all started because the original actor was feeling very unwell, so they needed to recast it. But instead of doing the BS thing that every show does, where they go, "Oh, we'll just recast a part and everything will be fine and no one will notice it," they went, "What if we actually made it a plot point and came up with it would be called regeneration later whenever the third Doctor would regenerate. But at the time, I think they called it removal or something like that. But the point is actually make it a plot point that the actors are changing. And
Well,
that's what made Doctor Who survive for so long, just like it has.
yeah, well, that's one thing I actually liked about Altered Carbon was they, with its concept of, I don't want to ruin the show if you haven't seen it, but its concept, they can basically put any actor in any character's place and just write it in as part of the story, and it's pretty cool. But and I do like that about Doctor Who too. I don't know. There's so many seasons in shows like that. Once they get away from me, it's hard for me to get back into it because then I have to binge watch like 40 episodes, and I just don't have the time.
People like definitely look at Doctor Who and go, "Do I have to start from the very beginning?" And I go, "No,
Nah,
no, you don't. You
you,
don't."
but
Um,
I like the original Doctor Who
hmm,
and the second Doctor Who. I liked him a lot too. So for me, I liked watching it in general. I
hmm,
like the concepts and the worlds he goes to, and or times, I suppose. But
yeah. The
uh,
Twitch streams lately has been so just happy for me because it's not like I've been watching it as a stretch, but anytime I get the chance, I will sometimes open it and just watch the chat rooms reaction to these things because these are people that have never seen this before and stuff like that. They're going, "Oh, that's brilliant," and stuff like that. It's just been gleeful for me. I mean, the fact that the internet has made a meme out of Ian Chesterton going, "Barbara, we've made it! London 1965!" And people already have shirts that say London 1965 on them, and it's just started. So makes me happy.
well, the things people latch onto are incredible in itself. Like I don't want anybody to die, but I need them to. It's things like that.
Yeah.
Um, well, one of the questions I ask everybody is, what can we expect from you in 2018?
Okay. I suppose I could be nice and give you an exclusive because it's gonna in the next couple of weeks, I'm probably going to reveal it anyway, so I might as well tell you I am planning a new show
Oh,
to be added to the network. Um, I have been a huge fan of Good Eats, the show on Food Network, for a while.
yeah,
And at one point in my career, I was vlogging. I don't do that now. I get to that sort of thing through the Snapchat and Instagram stories. It makes it a lot easier because the editing and the like.
yeah,
Um, but one of those was I was going to put through all of the Good Eats books and stuff. And then we had an event where back in the heyday of celiac disease, whenever it was first being
yeah.
discovered, and apparently everybody had it because doctors were overdiagnosing it like crazy. It was an epidemic. Mom got diagnosed with it. We found out a year later, after she suffered through that, she didn't have it, but she got diagnosed with that for that year. And it really screwed up my plans because there's going to be a lot of gluten in all that. um,
Yeah,
so that ended up going to the wayside. I'm going to revive that project, but I'm going to do it differently. It's going to be called the Good Eats Fan Podcast. And it is going to be one part fan podcast, one part personal journal, so to speak. So I am going to watch the various episodes of Good Eats and comment on them like a fan podcast, like we do with Doctor Who and stuff like that.
yeah,
Because Good Eats always had storylines and stuff like that, to where you can totally do that with Good Eats. But I'm also going to cook through every recipe within reason. There'll be some where I live that I'm not going to be able to pull that off. I won't even be able to grab hold of the ingredients, things like that. But I even have friends that consume alcohol. So for my medical problem of me not being able to do that, be like, "Hey guys, you like this stuff? Come over here," and things like that.
hmm,
Um, so like when we get to the beer episode, I'm going to hand it to my friends that drink beer and go, "What do you think?" I'll probably have them on the episode. Um, but so this is going to be fun for me, I think, especially given the news that they are going to revive Footies later on this year. Just to start that project again, and this time have more of a reason to do it because it will be audio and stuff. So the first couple of episodes will be easy because it'll be me recounting my first go at it, and then eventually I'm going to be going back into the full blown cooking phase and everything like that.
That's interesting because usually people watch cooking shows or anything to not for the review, but to see the actual food be cooked.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting take on it. Well, what you're obviously you do a lot with your family. Is it do your parents strive to push you to be a creator? Has it been something like that, or is it just something you all enjoy doing, so you do it together as a family?
It's something we enjoy doing, so we do it as a family. I was the first podcaster of the group, and then various people glommed on afterwards. Um, Dad joined first, like I said, with that Sam podcast that I'm doing. And then Mom joined with various Sam. She started becoming a Samcast regular, and then whenever that show ended, and we started doing Gig, and it was obviously her and Dad coming together, and us all three doing something. Um, so yeah, it's been fun seeing various people be pulled in. And of course, my friends Kevin and Samantha, I have brought in to do a series of unfortunate podcasts, is what we call it, which is a fan show for the series of unfortunate events that is currently on Netflix. Because all three of us had read the books. So
Yeah.
it's us sort of going from that angle. Although we also don't spoil things for anyone who hasn't read the books. So it's been these fun little moments of, oh my god, they finally showed that so we can talk about it because we've been under pressure this whole time, sort of thing. Because that show's got a lot of secrets that you gotta keep your tongue dead on if you don't want to spoil something.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, it's been fun so far to bring them in and do that. Um, so yeah, I just bring various family members and friends in and have a good time. No one really gets pushed to do anything. It's just I like doing it.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, hold on, my alarm's going off. Um, but I well, I won't hold you up any longer. But I appreciate you taking the time to do this and just talk about what you do as a creator. Part of what I want to do with all this is to talk to multiple creators and just see what makes them tick. Because there's no secret to this. There's no instant. I mean, people do go viral, but it's for the wrong reasons. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, uh, there's no secret to creating. You just keep doing what you do and hope that people latch onto it. But for me, I just do it because I feel like doing it. Not really the fame or passion from it. Yeah, that shit or that stuff all comes from it, anyways. You're passionate about doing it, and then people like it in the end. But I do appreciate you taking the time, man. I guess we'll end it here. But is there anything you want to share? Lastly,
Well,
any closing thoughts?
just if anyone's curious about this, just look into it and
Where can they
check.
find you?
Oh, of course. Um, I'm too busy trying to inspire someone that I don't
No,
really.
inspire
I might
people.
need to.
Go ahead.
I might
And
need to plug, but yeah, I'll plug after I finish this thought.
plugging's
Um,
overrated, but inspire people.
right. um, but yeah, if you're curious about content creation, just look into it. Like I said, you can start with some very simple pieces of equipment that don't cost that much, and go from there. Um, you might not like it, but you're never gonna know until you try, so to speak. Um, and if people want to find all of my stuff, you can head on over to TSCN.tv. That's where all of my stuff is kept. And all my social media links are at about.me/labtech7. Now you know what my old screen name used to be. To check all of that stuff out. And Fritz, it's been an honor for you to ask me for an interview. It's been nice being an interviewee instead of an interviewer. This doesn't happen often.
Yeah. Well, people ask me all the time because I always talk about making it and being famous. They go, what do you, what will making it be to you? And to me, that's when someone actually asks me for an interview. You know what I'm saying? That's. But I know I appreciate getting someone to say they'll do an interview. You can do all day, but actually getting someone to sit down and do the interview, that's the real feat in itself. So I appreciate you taking the time. And everybody watching, thank you so much. And I'll see you later today. Stream something, some game. I don't know. There's so much out. Vampire makes me want to smash my head through a wall, though. uh, but I love all you. I can't say it, but I can say it, but I'm not gonna do it because Sam's a Christian. Um, but I love all you, and I'll see y'all later. Diamonds.